UFC Fight Night Vegas 38, Santos versus Walker just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap at the end as well, starting with the early prelim opener of Alejandro Perez versus Johnny Eduardo. He eventually got an armbar from side control submission in the second round, a very unorthodox situation. Tapology is calling it a modified armbar. He basically got down Johnny Eduardo in the second round, and I did predict that Alejandro Perez would win this one by second round TKO. He ended up doing it by submission with a bit of an armbar by using a TP with his legs to get the armbar, whilst also having a scarf hold in his other position as well. It was a very weird submission that went down, but either way, both guys did not look too good in this fight. The first round was very iffy, but it went to Johnny Eduardo. He landed the better shots in the first round, looked a lot better than Alejandro Perez. Then you could kind of see that Alejandro Perez started to warm into the fight, get a little bit better with himself, land some more shots on the feet, get a bit more respect from Johnny Eduardo. And you could also see from Johnny Eduardo that he did not seem as fresh in the second round as he was in the first round. Alejandro Perez landed a couple of good body shots, couple of good lead left hooks to deliver in the fight. Looked like they were affecting Johnny Eduardo. He eventually got taken down in the second round, did not get back up whatsoever, had a tough time on the ground. I don't even know if he tapped to a submission. I feel like he kind of just tapped to exhaustion and the fact that he knew he was going to get beaten up as that fight went on. But Alejandro Perez gets the job done by submission in the first round with a very weird situation, modified armbar, half of a scarf hold as well, I guess, at one point as well. Gets a performance bonus for himself, 50k in the bank for Alejandro Perez. Very good win. I picked him to win as well. Moving on up the card, I picked Stephanie Egger to beat Shana Young in the next fight on the card as an underdog. She opened as an underdog. I thought she'd go out there, use her European Championship in judo to great effect, and that's exactly what she did out there. In the first round, she failed to get a takedown, had a bit of trouble on the ground, but then eventually she did get the takedown. Then as the rounds went on, you could just see that Shana Young did not really have anything as soon as it hit the ground, and it was just a bit of a one-sided whooping as soon as it hit the ground for Stephanie Egger. The first round went to Stephanie Egger. The second round, Shana Young was doing okay on the feet again, eventually got taken down, and that's all it was. She caught the kick, took her down. Wasn't really much else going on, to be honest with you. She just No, she didn't catch the kick. She got a good little hip toss against the cage a couple of times in that fight. I believe twice in that fight she went for the same hip toss against the cage, using her judo, getting it to the ground, put herself in a good position, landed some good elbows. But this was a very weird stoppage, and I do want to talk about this as well. This was a bad stoppage. This was an early stoppage. This was an unjustifiable stoppage. I know some people out there are going to say, they're women, let them go. If any male fighter had a fight stopped in that exact same situation, everyone would be screaming early stoppage. The male fighter would be stood up on their feet screaming at the referee like, what the fuck are you doing here? I took 2 ground and pound shots and you completely stepped in on the fight. I understand that Shana Young was covering up, but covering your face is in a way intelligent defense. If she was sprawled out backwards with her hands flat by her sides, not responding whatsoever after those 2 ground and pound shots with the elbow and the punch, I understand stepping in. She covered up for a second to not get ground and pounded, and they stepped in. Was it going to go that way anyway? Yes, I predicted that Stephanie Egger was going to win. It looked like she was going to win as these rounds went on. She won the first round, she won the second round. If she didn't get finished in the third, she wouldn't have lost that fight. I understand. But that is such a bad stoppage, and if it was a male, everyone would be going crazy about an early stoppage. But because they're female, you have to protect them a little bit more, because they're poor little females. It's weird. I don't know why they do it. If I was Shana Young, I'd be angry. But, you know. Oh well, the fight was going to be stopped anyway. She wasn't going anywhere too soon. Either way, it was a weird stoppage, and you have to agree with that. Moving on up the card, Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Gaetino Pirrello. I went with Douglas Silva de Andrade. I thought he was going to get like a late rounds TKO, but he didn't. He went out there and got a brutal first round KO over Gaetino Pirrello. Not good for Gaetino Pirrello. He's probably going to get cut by the UFC. 15-7. was the younger guy here against Douglas Silva, the Andrade. Got outlanded on the feet, got pushed against the cage early, defended a takedown early, I believe, as well, but it wasn't really a takedown attempt. It was just Andrade trying to get a hold of him. They separated, and Andrade out of nowhere just lands a big, massive right hand as Gaetino Pirrello is going for like a front kick, it looked like, or maybe like a switch kick to the head off the lead leg. No idea what he was going for, but he was up in the air for some reason with a high kick, I believe it was, like a lead leg high kick from Gaetino Pirrello. And as he did it, he gets clipped with a massive right hand from Douglas Silva, the Andrade, completely takes himself off his feet. Brutal KO for Douglas Silva, the Andrade, and I believe he made $50,000 as well. I'll just check that right now to make sure. Yes, he did. Another $50,000 bonus winner for Douglas Silva, the Andrade. Amazing performance. First round KO. Did not expect that from him whatsoever. But a great win for Douglas Silva, the Andrade. Proving that he's still got it in his old age. And let's not forget, this guy is 27-4. He's lost to Zubaira Tukagov, Rob Font, I believe. Piotr Jan as well. Like, he's lost to really good fighters in that division. He doesn't lose to Cans whatsoever. So I feel like he deserves a bit more respect. 27-4 is a great record. There was one moment where he was 22-0. Good win in the first round by Douglas Silva, the Andrade. Put Gaetino Pirrello out cold on mid-air. He was literally in mid-air, completely stiff as a board. It was crazy. Moving on up the card, Devonte Smith versus Jamie Mullarkey. I picked Jamie Mullarkey by KO in an upset win against Devonte Smith. And I think Jamie Mullarkey was the man of the fucking card. He was the MVP of the card. A couple of people had good performances. But Jamie Mullarkey to upset Devonte Smith in the way that he did, and look the way that he did in that second round when he got that finish. That was such a brutal final combination of shots. Bang, bang, body shot, knee, big shot again upstairs, big shots upstairs. Devonte Smith brings his hands up to protect himself. Boom, boom, more body shots go into Devonte Smith, puts him down in a second round. It looked like Devonte Smith got the better of the first round. I did believe he won that first round, if I remember correctly. Landed some more of the big shots. I think Jamie Mullarkey might have landed more shots in the first round. It was 22-21, actually, to Devonte Smith in the first round. But Devonte Smith landed bigger shots as well. Rocked Jamie Mullarkey, I believe, twice in that first round. Not really rocked him, but caught him with a big shot that made him respect the power of Devonte Smith for a second. Clearly, Devonte Smith won that first round. Good round, though, very close. Mullarkey showed great head movement, dipping under a couple of shots, landing a couple of good shots back. The main reason that he won this fight, though, is because Devonte Smith is a glass cannon. He's very fast twitch muscle fiber. And Mullarkey's not as fast, but he's tough. He's durable. He's got a massive Luque-sized head. And he can take shots very, very well. And he can give them back with some good power. And he also invested more in this fight as well, if you look at the stats. Devonte Smith, 82% to the head, 6% to the body, 10% to the legs. Jamie Mullarkey, 40% to the head, 40% to the body, 20% to the legs. He was chopping at the legs. I believe he actually hurt Devonte Smith to the legs at one point before the fight was over. That's kind of was the beginning of the end of the fight. In the second round, he chopped a leg kick. It landed beautifully, right with the angle of the foot, right on the thigh of Devonte Smith, as he tried to pull it away as well, so he wasn't bracing for it. He just got clipped really badly by it, and then his leg went numb, I assume, because he started stepping very funny afterwards. Then the combinations followed up from Jamie Mullarkey, and he got himself a second round TKO and looked great. Dipping his head a little bit too much, almost got hit with a couple of good knees that could have put him out cold, but he's tough enough, so I guess he can get away with it. Very good performance by Jamie Mullarkey. I went into this fight thinking that he's just an average guy in the lightweight division that I think is good enough to beat Devonte Smith in an upset, which is why I put money on him as an underdog. But I left this fight thinking this guy's actually got a good chance of riding up that division and beating a whole bunch more guys and becoming a contender himself. He trains with Alexander Volkanovski at CKB. You can see the massive improvements he's made since moving gyms, and I think he's going to go on and do great things in the UFC. Moving on up the card, Bethe Correia versus Karol Rosa. Not much to talk about here. Karol Rosa just outstruck her for 3 rounds. I guess Bethe Correia retired, so bye. Thank God. But Karol Rosa looked actually kind of good. I do want to give her some credit here. Little bit of a lackluster fight over 3 rounds. Not too crazy, but Karol Rosa looks good on the feet. For a women's MMA fighter, she looked very adept on the feet, very technical on the feet, kept it very sensible, didn't overthrow any shots, landed some good right hands, some good 1-2s, great leg kicks throughout the fight as well, a couple of good body kicks and good knees to the body as well. She would land some good shots, realize she's gotten Bethe Correia's respect, and then blast knees to the body as well. Very good performance by Karol Rosa. 26 years of age, 15-3 at bantamweight, looking better and better every single time we see her. Very technical on the feet, just dominated Bethe Correia. I think it was a very good performance by Karol Rosa, and I think she's someone to watch out for in the women's bantamweight division. I picked her to win as well, of course, by decision. Moving on up the card, Antonina Shevchenko versus Casey O'Neill. I went with Casey O'Neill here by second round submission, I believe, to rear naked choke. She ended up getting it done by TKO after a vicious beatdown in the second round. Casey O'Neill won this fight. I thought she won the first round, I believe. If I remember correctly, I picked her to win this one as well. She may not have won the first round, sorry. Antonina Shevchenko won the first round, landed way more shots on the feet. But wait, did she? Maybe I'm completely confused here because I don't remember these stats going down, but maybe Antonina Shevchenko did win the first round. But I remember Casey O'Neill got a takedown at the very end of the round and landed a couple of big shots that maybe could have swayed it her way. What were the judges' scorecards on this one? I'd like to know that one, but whatever. I guess I'll find out another time. Antonina Shevchenko could have won the first round then, I guess, in hindsight. Landing good shots on the feet against Casey O'Neill, landing good knees in the clinch, good shots at range. Casey O'Neill's boxing at range is shit. Don't throw punches ever again in fights. Just go for takedowns, please, I beg of you. It was very unfortunate to watch that go down. Her hands don't quite exist. Very slow hands. Was getting outstruck by Shevchenko at range. Then the second round comes around and she does what she does best. Gets the takedown, gets top position, passes over the guard, gets into the mount position, starts raining down big shots. It was a very awkward finish because Antonina Shevchenko's tough. She tried to get out of there. She kept giving weird moments of pausing of damage where the referee couldn't quite step in because she was actually scrambling, but Casey O'Neill was still landing big shots, trying to peel Shevchenko's head off of her to land big elbows, and she was landing big shots and elbows, and she eventually got the finish at the end of the second round. Justified. Bit of a weird stoppage to look at, but the amount of shots that Shevchenko had taken that round, yeah, she just doesn't have good takedown defense, and O'Neill had a great takedown attempt in the second round and got it very well. So good job, Casey O'Neill. Very good performance by her. Kept the back well, kept position on top very well. I think she just needs to do that to every single opponent. No more stand-up. Don't get risky. There's no need for it. Just try and work that ground game. Try and get the grappling going, and I think she can go quite far in that division. Undefeated, 8-0. Eventually, she'll lose to Shevchenko, but that's what it is. It's women's flyweight. It's Shevchenko and everyone else. But good win by Casey O'Neill. Very good performance, in all honesty. Moving on up the card. Joe Solecki versus Jared Gordon. This was my last fight on a parlay. I got the whole set of prelims correct. Perfect. All of the prelims perfectly correct. Calling an upset with Jamie Mullarkey in a TKO fashion as well. Solecki let me down. Took the back in the first round, had full control in the first round, won the first round of the fight. Jared Gordon comes back in the second round with a reversal at one point, ends up on top after a lazy grappling session by Joe Solecki in the second round, ends up on top, lands a couple of good shots there, wins the second round because he lands more shots on top. Joe Solecki was doing good, he just wasn't really damaging from positions as much as, I just bit my tongue. He wasn't really damaging from positions as much as Jared Gordon was, so he lost the second round, and then the third round was very close. I thought Solecki had outlanded him when I watched it live, but apparently Gordon was landing some of those glancing blows, pushing Solecki back the whole time, so he wins the third round as well. Solecki was injured though. That's my excuse, okay? He's not good anyway. He's not that good anyway. Jared Gordon called out Paddy Pimblett, which I believe is a great matchup for Paddy Pimblett and should definitely happen. 100%, please. We need Paddy Pimblett to get closer towards the rankings. He'd easily destroy Jared Gordon, probably by KO as well, because Gordon's stand-up is so appallingly bad, and his ground game is essentially lay in full guard and just total strike to the body and head. So I think definitely Paddy Pimblett would beat him, without a doubt. Great matchup for Paddy Pimblett. Let's get that one signed right now, please. Seriously. We need to move this guy up the division, and Jared Gordon's an easy win for him. Paddy Pimblett accepted the call out as well, so maybe that will happen next year in February or something like that. But for Joe Solecki, he was injured. He had bruises all over his back. He had cut marks all over his back as well. There was like a purple bruise right across his like rear ribs of his back. Very strange situation. Hopefully he gets better, but not a good performance by him. Lost out to Jared Gordon. Very embarrassing. He's a shit fighter. You shouldn't have lost to him. Moving on up the card. Alexander Hernandez versus Mike Breeden. Alexander Hernandez went out there and did what Alexander Hernandez does to up-and-coming prospects and Beneil Dariush, I guess. Hernandez either looks mediocre in certain fights or looks like an absolute destroyer against lower level competition. Did it to Chris Guttersmacher, did it to Mike Breeden tonight. I picked him by first round TKO. He made me some money in that regards as well. Thank you very much, Alexander Hernandez. And he went after it, man. It actually started not so good for him. He got caught by a couple of shots. Breeden was way bigger than him and he missed weight as well. He was much bigger than Alexander Hernandez. Landed a good leg kick early, a good punch early on Hernandez, and it kind of woke Hernandez up and said, I'm fucking putting this guy away now. Went after him, landed a couple of good shots, rocked him at one moment as well in the fight that was very noticeable. He got rocked by a punch, and then Hernandez just swarmed for the finish. Great combinations against the cage. Got clipped back a couple of times, though, because Mike Breeden was throwing back. He was staying in there. He was trying to fight back. Then all of a sudden, Alexander Hernandez lands that right hand over the jab of Mike Breeden. Boom, right down the pipe. Sends Breeden backwards, flatlined on his back. Have to stop the fight there. Alexander Hernandez gets the job done. Looks amazing as well against Mike Breeden. Then calls out afterwards Leonardo Santos again, which I think is a great matchup for him, and I think he'd win that one as well, seeing as Santos is an older guy, 41 years of age, only going to be older whenever they do eventually fight as well. I like that he wants to make that matchup again. He wanted that matchup on this card. He said he trained 8 weeks for Leonardo Santos. He wants to make the most out of those 8 weeks of training. I think that's what they should do next. Turn Hernandez right around in December, January, February, get him back in there against Leonardo Santos, and make good shit happen. Hopefully Hernandez can put together a couple of wins here. But I equally wouldn't even mind Alexander Hernandez versus Paddy Pimblett. I'm spitting everywhere right now. Would not mind Hernandez versus Pimblett. Would be a great matchup. Maybe not right now. Maybe Pimblett might beat Jared Gordon, who's quite highly ranked at lightweight. Hernandez beats Thiago, or not, whatever his name is, Leonardo Santos. Gets closer to the rankings as well. And then Hernandez versus Pimblett for a number 15 spot. Who knows? Good job by Hernandez. Great first round KO. Didn't get a bonus. Sucks for him. I don't know why. Guess it was because it was on short notice. Moving on up the card. Misha Cirkunov versus Krzysztof Jotko. Just another Jotko fight, man. Stuffing takedowns and barely outlanding people on the feet. It's what Jotko does. It's just a Jotko fight. Misha Cirkunov went out there, failed every single takedown, had certain moments of control. I gave Jotko the first round. I gave Jotko the second round. I gave Jotko the third round as well. I guess I'll check the stats right now to see if I'm correct in saying that, because we'll see. Round 1 was Cirkunov's round, apparently. My bad. I thought Jotko still could have won the first round with landing cleaner shots. Cirkunov didn't look like he landed too many great shots in the fight. The headshots were all landed by Jotko. But I guess you can give the first round to Cirkunov. Maybe I'm incorrect. Second round, apparently Cirkunov got 5 out of 17 takedowns. That makes more sense. That's why they would have given him the first round then. Second round was Jotko's round. Stuffed more of the takedowns. Landed more significant strikes at range. Landed the better strikes at range as well. Couple of good leg kicks. Couple of good kicks to the body. I think a kick upstairs he landed as well at one point. Couple of good right hands. And then the third round came around and Jotko did the same thing. Stuffed the takedowns. Got a takedown at the end of the fight as well with some couple of shots of ground and pound that secured him the fight, in my opinion. Very close, nail-biting fight if you've got money on Jotko, which I did. Thank you, Jotko, for making me that schmuller. But yeah, very close fight. Jotko won it based on the takedown in the third. Or he could have won it without the takedown, but that just solidified it in his favour. Good job, Krzysztof Jotko. I really don't give a fuck about him, though. He's such a boring fighter. Moving on, but so is Cirkunov, so go fuck them both. Moving on, up the card. Alex Oliveira versus Niko Price. Weird one. I thought this one was going to be chaos. Like, real, ridiculous, high-paced, crazy action, non-stop for 3 rounds. Didn't get that. We got a full grappling match between Niko Price and Alex Oliveira. One thing I do want to mention, though, I picked Niko Price to win. I did great this card, by the way. Just thought I'd mention. Alex Oliveira was crying on his way out. Don't know what coach allowed him to accept that as happening. Bethe Correia was crying on the way out as well. You can't go from crying like a baby, let's be real, like a baby. I know something terrible happened, but the emotion of crying is that of a timid one. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a bad one. Crying is not like he wasn't crying tears of joy. He was crying from sadness, from pity, from despair. It's not a good position to be in when you're about to try and go kill someone in a cage. I don't know why they would let him go out there, slap the fuck out of him and say, hey, suck it up right now. Stop your fucking tears. You're about to fucking go feed your kids. Get in that cage and win. Slap, 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 slap. Wake the fuck up. Stop crying. You're a grown-ass man. I understand one of his family members died. I understand that's very bad. But if I was a coach, slap, slap, slap. Get him in the fucking mood. And stop crying before a fight. But he has reason to cry. I understand. Very close fight. First round to Niko Price. Out-grappled Alex Oliveira towards the end. Got top position and landed some decent shots there as well. Second round, got to go towards Alex Oliveira. Landed good shots on the feet. More shots on the feet than Niko Price did. Went out there. Got a takedown, I believe, in the second round as well. Controlled position. Landed some good shots there. 2 10-9 rounds. 1-1 going into the third. And then, obviously, Niko Price wins the third round. But looking at the stats, Oliveira still has a chance to win the third, but it was Niko Price's third round. He got clipped with more shots in the third round, but he also landed some big shots that looked like they stumbled Oliveira all over the place, like he fell backwards against the cage whenever Niko Price would land a left hook, or he stumbled towards his right whenever Niko Price would land a right hook. But yeah, Niko Price won the fight, got a takedown towards the end of round 3, landed some couple of elbows and ground and pound shots at the end of the round, secured it in his favour, landed more total strikes as well on the ground and pound situation. Yeah, Niko Price. I was waiting for an upkick KO in the second round. It was going to be crazy, but I guess this was an okay fight. The third round was pretty fun. The first two were a bit snoozy, but you know, they can't all be amazing fights. And for Niko Price, I don't know what he's going to do next. I don't know what's next for Niko Price. If I was like a Daniel Rodriguez, though, and I wanted a fight that I could win, I would say, hey, Niko Price, come get number 15 ranking spot. I'll fight you. Fuck fighting Jeff Neal. I'll make the same amount of money fighting Niko Price. And I'll tell you, Niko Price looked old. He looks old. Oliveira does not take damage the same way anymore either. They both looked a bit old and past it today, in my opinion. But a good performance by Niko Price. He wins and feeds his fucking 10 kids. Moving on up the card. Kevin Holland versus Kyle Daukaus. Picked Kevin Holland to win. Ended in a draw. Clash of heads. Down goes Holland. Gets back up. Doesn't get back up, sorry. Gets on the ground. Face plants completely. Out cold, basically, to the headbutt. Daukaus goes for submissions. Can't quite get a few of them. Holland works his way back up to his feet. Daukaus gets the back. Chokes him out in the first round with a rear naked choke. But it's a no contest because of the head clash. Here's what I get for Daukaus, though. He didn't do anything wrong. He should get his win bonus. There's not much to talk about here. Kevin Holland showed improved takedown defense. I've got a 15-minute video breaking down this on my channel in depth. He showed good takedown defense, good sprawls, good angles, use of a underhook, use of a whizzer. Got taken down a couple of times, but worked his way back to his feet with his knees. But yeah, Daukaus should get paid his win bonus. It was not his fault. He shouldn't get robbed of his money like that. Give him his win bonus. And let's run it back whenever they want to. Go check out the video if you want an in-depth breakdown. Thiago Santos versus Johnny Walker. Went with Thiago Santos for this one. He got it done. Not in the way that I expected. I thought it was going to be a first round KO for Thiago Santos. I'm sure a lot of people had this one ending early. I actually said before the fight started, there's literally no way this goes the distance. And so it went the distance. And it was very boring going the distance. I'll be honest with you. Not many strikes thrown per round. I had Santos winning I had Walker winning the first round because the chat told me, because I was crashing all over the place on the stream. Second round, I had Santos for sure. Third round, Santos for sure. Fourth round, Walker or Santos. Either way, at best, it's 2-2 Walker. His coaches tell him to keep doing the same thing. He needs a finish in the fifth. He might need a finish in the fifth. He needs to definitely win the fifth. And they're telling him to go out there and feint and move around on the outside. Don't get it. Santos won the fifth round very clearly. Landed more shots. Landed more significant shots. Landed a big left hand in the fifth round. It looked like it could have wobbled Walker, but Walker took it well. Weird. But, you know, Santos wins, moves on with his career. Walker is going to need... I actually think he's on the right path. He took shots better. He was more aware. Better takedown defense. Stuffed a couple of takedowns, I believe, in the first round especially. He just didn't have enough output and confidence in himself to go out there and put together any combinations or make it wild where he needs to, or just change things up if you're losing in a fifth round of a fight. You lost the first 3 minutes of the fifth round. Go change it up. Try a takedown. Try a sweep. Get in the clinch. Blast knees to the body. I know it's easier said than done, but like, you've got to push yourself into the fire sometimes if you need to win fights. He wanted to win it by scathing by a decision in a very close fight. Didn't work out for him. Santos got the job done. But I will say this, and I'll end it on this. Walker, if he develops the style he has now to be more effective with it, he can actually be something at light heavyweight. So we'll see how it goes with Walker. He's still a young guy. He's still got time to improve. So we'll see what fucking happens. Hopefully he stays active at least. But there you go. I went, I believe, 10-1-1 on the card. I got the Perez fight correct, the Egger fight correct, Andrade fight correct, Mullarkey upset correct, Rosa fight correct, O'Neal fight correct, Gordon fight incorrect. That's 6-1 on the prelims. And then I went on the main card. I got Hernandez correct in the first round, Jotko correct, Niko Price correct. And I said by decision as well for Niko Price. Holland, void, no contest, and Santos I got correct, but in not the way that I expected. I believe that's 10-1-1. Let me make sure I'm correct. 4-0-1 on the main card. 6-1. Yes, 10-1-1. Not too bad. I think that's one of my better cards this year. See you later, guys. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. Goodbye.